The time is precisely 6:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Chandima Veerakon. Headlines. World's largest star sapphire cluster found in Ratnapura. Sri Lanka's biggest water supply scheme will be vested with the public tomorrow. The Prime Minister says people will be bestowed with 100 proper cities. Solutions to teachers' and principals' issues will be given on Monday. 18% of estate sector children reported to be in domestic service. In news overseas, 5 policemen in India die after police from 2 states fired at each other. In sports news, Bermuda becomes the smallest nation or territory to win an Olympic gold medal. Local stories in detail. Authorities say the world's largest star sapphire cluster has been found in a backyard by accident. A gem trader said the stone was found by workmen digging a well in his home in the gem-rich Ratnapura area. Experts say the stone, which is pale blue in color, has an estimated value of up to $100 million in the international market. The cluster weighs around 510 kilograms or 2.5 million carats and has been named the Serendipity Sapphire. A renowned gemologist, Dr. Gamini Zoysa, told the BBC this was probably formed around 400 million years ago. Sri Lanka's biggest water supply scheme, Visal Matale Water Supply Scheme, will be vested with the people tomorrow afternoon under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. 31,000 million rupees have been spent on the scheme, which can provide 90,000 new water connections. More than 350,000 families will be benefited from the project. People in Matale, Rattuta, Yatavatta, Ukuvela, Pallepola, Ambanganga Korale and Na Ula will get clean drinking water through the scheme. Accordingly, clean drinking water coverage in Matale will increase from 30 to 90%. Laggala and Vilgamur schemes are being constructed under this scheme. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that 100 proper cities will be entrusted with the people where everyone can experience facilities of sustainable cities. The Prime Minister mentioned this while attending the function to inaugurate the 100 City Development Project at Kurunegala Hiripitiya town over video technology from the temple trees. The government will spend 20 million rupees to develop each city. Accordingly, 2,000 million rupees have been allocated to develop 100 cities. The Prime Minister pointed out that the people hope to meet their needs from the closest cities to them. He said that the government aims to develop cities under a proper plan. Speaking on the occasion, State Minister Nalaka Godahewa said that investments on behalf of the future will not be stopped despite problems in the country. He said that the government has made plans to develop all sub-cities. He said that those will be declared by a gazette this year. He further said that construction work to build 10,500 apartments have commenced. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the final decision on salary anomalies of teachers and principals and making teacher-principal service a closed service will be given after the Cabinet meeting on Monday. The Prime Minister mentioned this following a discussion with teachers and principals trade union representatives at the Temple Trees today. Accordingly, he informed the unions to be prepared to work from Monday. The unions pointed out that they did not receive a fair solution to their problems for 24 years. The trade union representatives said that they have a clear understanding of the economic problems in the country and salaries cannot be increased at once. They requested to take a policy decision to minimize salary anomalies according to the Subodhani report. The Prime Minister said that he has a clear understanding about teachers' salary anomalies. However, Prime Minister Rajapaksa said that the final decision should be taken following discussions with Salaries and Wages Commission. Discussions between the Prime Minister and teachers' trade unions took place for more than 2 hours. Minister G.L. Pires said that the Cabinet paper has been submitted based on the Supreme Court decisions, Cabinet decisions and the Subodhani report. State Minister Cecil Premajayantha said that the Cabinet has already approved to make it a closed service. However, Chairman of Teachers' Trade Union, Joseph Stalin, said that the online strike will continue as the discussion ended without an agreement. State Minister Cecil Premajayantha says that no government has taken steps to solve teachers' salary anomalies. Although the previous Good Governance government utilized huge amounts of capital expenses, the Education Minister ignored the problem. However, the present government has appointed the committee to find a permanent solution. He said that a special discussion in this regard took place under the patronage of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. State Minister Susil Premajayantha also said that 78% of the teachers have been given the first dose of the vaccine. He said that reopening of schools can be decided 2 weeks after giving the second dose. Central Province Governor Lalit Gamage has pointed out the need to pay a special attention on security of children. He said there are sufficient number of regulations to prevent malpractices related to children. However, he said those regulations are not properly implemented. The Central Province Governor pointed out it is an unfortunate situation to record 18% of underage children in the estate sector being employed in domestic service in urban areas. He said that children leaving schools due to the pandemic has accelerated. He said legal protection should be provided to the children by all relevant authorities in such a background. The Central Province Governor mentioned this during the Kandy District Committee meeting today. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that tourism could be commenced from September by completely vaccinating those who are above 30 years by the end of August. 72% of the vaccines used in the vaccination process is Sinopharm. The country has received 2.7 million Sinopharm vaccine doses as a donation so far. The president said that he immensely appreciated the support given by China to control the COVID pandemic. Chinese Ambassador Shi Wonghong handed over the Sinopharm vaccine consignment received today to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa at the Presidential Secretariat along with syringes. 1.6 million COVID vaccine doses have been handed over to the Fisheries Minister Douglas Devananda for the northeastern provinces. Chinese Ambassador to Sri Lanka Ki Xinghong handed over the vaccines to the minister in the presence of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa. The event held at the Presidential Secretariat today was attended by Health Minister Pavitra Vanyarachi and Chinese Embassy officials. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with local stories, State Minister Dilum Amunugama says that any place with economic value in the Colombo city will not be handed over to China or any other foreign country. During a media briefing in Kandy, he said that only shares of companies will be sold. The Cabinet has decided to purchase the annual surgical gauze requirement for Medical Supplies Division from local small-scale entrepreneurs. The Cabinet has approved to purchase 30 million metres of surgical gauze for this year at a cost of 774 million rupees from 461 local suppliers. The Criminal Investigation Department has launched an investigation into the deaths of 2 other girls who are alleged to have died while in domestic service at MP Rishad Patiuddin's house. Deputy Solicitor General Dilip Piris disclosed this in court yesterday. At a special virtual prize-giving ceremony held today, High Commission of India felicitated the winners of the first round of the 3rd edition of No India Quiz for the year 2020-2021. Mr. Vinod K. Jacob, Acting High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, was the chief guest at the event. Launched in 2015-2016, the quiz is an important initiative of the Government of India to strengthen engagement with Indian diaspora and friends of India by encouraging them to know about India. The quiz has 4 rounds and the final prize is a tour of India sponsored by the Government of India. There were 8 winners from Sri Lanka. The Indian High Commission said they are among the 163 youth from all over the world who qualified for the first round. To end the local news, the headlines again. World's largest star sapphire cluster found in Ratnapura. Sri Lanka's biggest water supply scheme will be vested with the public tomorrow. The Prime Minister says people will be bestowed with 100 proper cities. Solutions to teachers and principals issue will be given on Monday. 18% of estate sector children reported to be in domestic service. That ends local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, 123 persons who violated quarantine regulation have been arrested yesterday. Accordingly, 52,277 have been arrested in connection with the offence. Cases have been filed against 48,000 individuals. Police media spokesman Senior DIG Ajit Rohana said that cases will be filed against another 4,000. That ends the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight. Chairman of State Pharmaceuticals Corporation, Dr. Prasanna Gunasena, says that Sri Lanka is successfully implementing the vaccination program. However, he said that the percentage of patients and the need of oxygen have increased. Dr. Gunasena said that precautions should be taken for 6 weeks after taking both doses of vaccines. He said that if it is successful, people can follow normal lives from September. That ends Watchlight. We move on to world news. The headlines. 5 policemen in India die after police from 2 states fired at each other. Vatican's cardinal goes on trial in $412 million fraud case. Britney Spears officially requests new conservator to replace her father. At least 5 policemen in India have died after police from 2 states fired at each other. The unusual incident happened along the border between Assam and Mizoram states in northeastern India. Officials from both sides, including chief ministers, have accused each other of provoking violence. The firing incident follows months of simmering tensions over a long-running border dispute between the 2 states. A Roman Catholic cardinal who was once a close ally of Pope Francis is going on trial in the Vatican, accused of misusing church funds in the ruinous London property venture. The cardinal, aged 73, is the most senior cleric in modern times to face trial for alleged financial crimes. He is charged with spending $412 million of church money on a posh deal to buy a property in Chelsea that incurred huge losses. He denies wrongdoing. Britney Spears has officially asked for her father to be replaced as her conservator 13 years after he assumed control of her life and finances. The star's new lawyer petitioned the court on Monday, a month after Spears broke her public silence on the arrangement, calling it abusive. In court papers, Matthew S. Rosengart described the conservatorship as a nightmare. He asked for accountant Jason Rubin to be named conservator of Spears' estate. To end the world news, the headlines again. 5 policemen in India die after police from 2 states fired at each other. Vatican's cardinal goes on trial in $412 million fraud case. Britney Spears officially requests a new conservator to replace her father. That ends world news.
Development News is brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
On development news, MP Pramita Bandarathinakon says that Gamma Samaga Pilisandara program is a relief for rural people affected by many issues. The second program of Gamma Samaga Pilisandara program series took place at Himbiliyakada village in the Matale district last year. MP Thinnakon said that the village has been developed rapidly following the program. That ends development news.
Development News was brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melva RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melva RB500, #1 in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Moving on to sports news. With a population of just 63,000, Bermuda became the smallest nation or territory to win an Olympic gold medal at the Summer Games when Flora Duffy won the triathlon in Tokyo. The 33-year-old, making her fourth appearance at an Olympics, came out on top of the 56 women field with a time of 1 hour 55 minutes 36 seconds, more than a minute ahead of Great Britain's Georgia Taylor-Brown and USA's Katie Safaris. Australian surfer Owen Wright marked his incredible comeback from a traumatic brain injury by winning the first ever Olympic medal in surfing. The 31-year-old was left with bleeding on the brain as a result of a wipeout by a huge wave during training in 2015. It left Wright needing to learn to walk and surf again. He has not only returned to the sport but has now made history by securing a bronze medal in Tokyo. Tom Dean claimed a stunning gold and Duncan Scott silver to ensure a British 1-2 in a fast, closely fought 200-meter freestyle at the Tokyo Olympics. Dean touched home in 1 minute 44.22 seconds, securing a British record in his debut games. Scott finished just 0.04 seconds behind his teammate, with Fernando Scheffer of Brazil taking the bronze. Andy Murray continued his bid for a fourth Olympic medal as he and Joe Salisbury reached the quarter-finals of the men's doubles in Tokyo. The British duo backed up their impressive opening round win to beat Germany's Kevin Krawietz and Tim Pertz 6-2, 7-6, 7-2. They will play either America's Rajiv Ram and France's Tiafoe or Marin Cilic and Ivan Dodig of Croatia next. The second T20 between Sri Lanka and India has been postponed to tomorrow. Krunal Pandya, who played against Sri Lanka in the previous matches, has become infected with COVID-19. Players of both teams have been subjected to PCR tests today. Matthew Abesingha was placed 8th in 100 meters freestyle in the fourth heat at the Olympic Games today. He clocked 50.62 seconds. That ends sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
On Business News, Nations Trust Bank announced the successful oversubscription of its unlisted debenture prior to its opening, aggregating 5 billion rupees in applications. Structured, managed and placed internally, the bank planned to raise up to 3 billion rupees through the issue of 30 million unlisted, rated, unsecured, senior redeemable debentures at the par value of 100 rupees each. That ends Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
And on economic news, State Minister Ajit Niwad Kabral said Sri Lanka has settled the scheduled debt of $1 billion international sovereign bond issue yesterday. Sri Lanka has transferred funds to repay the $1 billion bond by Tuesday deadline, keeping intact its reputation for honouring debt. State Minister for Money and Capital Markets Ajit Niwad Cabral told Bloomberg by phone the money was transferred yesterday. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And finally on the weather report, the Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at times in Sabaragamu province and in the Nura Elia and Kandy districts. Fairly heavy showers, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places. Several spells of showers will occur in the western and northwestern provinces and in Gaul and Mathura districts. Fairly strong winds up to 50 kilometers per hour and gusting winds up to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slope of Central Hills, northern, north central and northwestern provinces and in the Hambantota and Trincomalee districts. That ends the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
And to end this bulletin of news, the headlines again. World's largest star sapphire cluster found in Ratnapura. Sri Lanka's biggest water supply scheme will be vested with the public tomorrow. The Prime Minister says people will be bestowed with 100 proper cities. Solutions to teachers and principals issue will be given on Monday. 18% of estate sector children reported to be in domestic service. 5 policemen in India die after police from 2 states fired at each other. Bermuda becomes the smallest nation or territory to win an Olympic gold medal. With that, we conclude this bulletin of news from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.